Hey Sagittarius, it's Empress Rose here. Welcome to your reading. These are general readings. We're going to take what works, leave what doesn't. And if I don't catch your wavelength or storyline here, you can check your other major placements. And we're starting with the Oracle decks. I can't remember what these ones are called, but I'm sure I have it in the description. And then we'll move on to a more traditional tarot spread with Tarot of Mystical Moments. Anything else for Sagittarius? Floating through here in the upright, which means it probably got flipped around, is release. So it keeps catching my eye. So we'll go with that. Oh, look at this, and then the secret one. Oh. Okay. All right, we have illusion here. Something you're seeing isn't quite the way you think it is. You're seeing something and it's actually your projection onto that thing. So we can see the whole world as a bit of a Rorschach blotch. It's bring your own interpretation of pretty much everything around here. So, you know, and you can try, and that's not to say there isn't truth, but that is to say that we're always bringing our own interpretation, our own, what we want to see, what we're yeah. But this is like you're seeing yourself here. Some sort of situation is reflecting back at you. That's not to say every situation reflects back at you, but this is to call attention to something in your situation right now, which is reflecting back at you. If you're mad about something, or if someone's mad at you, or if you think someone's mad at you, it might be because you were mad at them, right? There's the old you spot it, you got it situation, right? Not always true, but sometimes worth considering, and this card is asking us to please consider if we're accusing someone of doing something that is actually us, what we're actually doing, if we're projecting onto something, but something isn't as it seems. Like he's yelling at another crow. There's no other crow here. He's just yelling at himself. And the broken mirror obviously is going to indicate something. It's not a pure image. We're not seeing it correctly. We're seeing ourselves reflected back to ourselves, but we're not even seeing a good image of it. It's like not even seeing a clear image of our own self. So that could be a little bit of what's going on here too, is you may not be seeing you're mad at something and it's not the other person, it's you. It's something you're bringing to the situation and you're not seeing the situation clearly. Then we have Swan Spirit, time for a deep dive. Now this is really interesting why they would pick the Swan. This deck in particular I'm not 100% vibing with quite yet. Sometimes it takes me a while to understand what's going on here because swans are so lovely and beautiful, and you know, they mate for life, and they have this, I don't know, they have this solidness to them, this really real solid grace and beauty to them. So we're taking a deep dive here though, because especially with this illusion card, we've got something that's on the surface looking beautiful and lovely perhaps, but there's something, right, like how is this sitting on top of this? Like, time for a deep dive, and that deep dive is probably going to reveal some things about yourself to yourself that you maybe would like to avoid. And this Swan Spirit coming in here, it is so beautiful, and this one's so like squirky and ugly. But you know what? This is reminding me of when we do those deep dives, when we do, you know, go looking into our subconscious or looking into our, you know, shadow self. It's important to also find the beauty there and to bring unconditional love with us as we go. I'm seeing a key here, and perhaps this is what the swan is reminding me of, is the love that we must bring in order to be able to reveal anything from our subconscious. Otherwise, if we're going to hate it, it's just going to keep hiding. Like if you're a child and you are terrified of a parent and you go and hide, that parent yelling and screaming for you to come out isn't going to entice anybody to come out. but something very beautiful, something very gentle, something very loving, well, that can entice the child to come out of hiding. And then you can talk about what happened. So here we see screaming, and here I see some sort of key is this unconditional love. And then using that analogy that I just brought out for yourself and for some of your deeper issues and some of the stuff you don't want to see, or some of the stuff you're mad about or mad about yourself about, trying to find the beauty in yourself. Are you protecting yourself? You deserve protection. Maybe this isn't the most clever way to go about it, but you do deserve protection. You know, are we going to yell at our child for hiding? Or are we going to like appreciate that they felt scared and they went to hide and they protected themselves? So this is actually a very what do you call that? Highly adaptive behavior, to go hide from something you're afraid of, right? That's a good first step. You know, you got to be able to fight back, but we're not there yet. We're hiding. So so that's a good first step. So I guess I'm seeing, like, trying to see some beauty in something you might be upset about, bringing some unconditional love. I really think that's going to be key for getting out of sort of this it's almost like a loop going on, or, you know, those mirrors, you know, when you're in a dressing room, you've got mirrors on either side and it's just infinite. It goes out, this conflict goes on, infinite amount in the end, infinite amount in the beginning. And this could actually have to do with a parental relationship, right? How our parents were wounded and their parents were wounded and their parents, and it just, the blame could go back into the past infinitely, and then also the pain could be perpetuated infinitely into the future, unless we start to bring some awareness to our subconscious issues, right? It's a deep dive. That's where we're going, people. So bringing that awareness to this issue, right? I just see some blame here or something like that, and it goes on for like generations in both directions, unless we take the deep dive and have the courage to go down there and down into the muck below this beautiful, gorgeous surface, down into the muck and stir some shit up. But not like that. We're stirring our own stuff up, but we're doing it with unconditional love. That's the key. I see a key here, and that's the key. We also have release. Again, talking about something from the past we may be mad at, we may be upset about something that happened to us, and, you know, appreciate that. No one's telling you not to be upset, because, you know, that's that can be a highly adaptive feeling of, I'm protecting this being that is sacred and that I am meant to be here, and I'm protecting that. But there's something from your past that needs to be released and needs to be let go of. This may require quite a deep dive. It may require a little bit of a ceremony for you to mourn what could have been. Oh yeah, what could have been? What could have been? So many things could have been so beautiful. If people had been able to bring their healthy selves, their clear visions, their beautiful selves to it, but so there's a release maybe of what could have been, what might have been, letting go of something back there. You may need to do some ritual, some ceremony. All cultures have them. Rituals and ceremonies are just integral to the human experience, and allowing us to let go of something, leaving something behind. And maybe even it's going to be a little piece of you too that needs to be left behind. So releasing something and letting go. But look, look at the freedom their wingspans sort of depict here, rising once the heavy weight is buried and left in the earth as it belongs. And then we have teamwork here. So this is a team taking aim at a red-tailed hawk here, but it is to say basically that working together, working with other people, working together, we can accomplish so many things. Things that one of these crows by himself would never take on this huge hawk. But the team of them together, they could maybe, I don't know what their goal is, harass him out of the area because he ate their young is probably what's going on here. So again, though, protecting their young, protecting the future generations. And then there's working teamwork. So if we're doing a deep dive, we may be wanting to talk to a therapist. We may be wanting to talk to a known entity that's safe to do these sort of deep dives with. But working with a team, maybe, and maybe even, oh yikes, asking other people where you're not seeing something accurately, right? They may not be seeing accurately either. So you always want to be careful who you're asking, because you don't want to ask someone who, hates you and has it in for you, where am I going wrong? And then they're like, oh, everywhere, or, oh, your strength, let me take that out. So, but working as a team, finding people around you to help and assist with, some of the bigger things, some of the bigger chunks you're trying to chew on. All right, Sagittarius, here's your past, your present, your inner landscape, what's the issue, environment, to-do list, possible outcome. What an interesting set of cards. Okay, well, this red tail talk is showing up here, it looks like. All right, in your recent past strength, something has required all of your strength to not give in, not give up, not, to not give in. You may have, it is like you have to think like somebody else, or like we're talking about the child that's hiding, right? That your inner child that could be hiding here. And there's almost a sense though of having to think like the inner child. Like what's the child thinking right now? Not thinking like a grown-up tearing around upset about everything, a grown-up. Tearing around upset about everything, but thinking like a child. There's something very childlike in this strength card. Trying to embody strength. There might have been a fake it till you make it idea, which is not a bad thing at all. Like, we don't want to fake it forever, but sometimes we can help induce certain states of mind, right? The power poses and that kind of thing. Even if we don't feel like doing it, we can do some things that we don't necessarily feel like doing. And that's what strength seems to be here. Is trying to be strong, working very hard to be strong, of feeling like you might be in the midst of danger and yet somehow having to continue on with that. And a lot of patience and inner strength to keep going even though you wanted to quit. In your current situation, you have 6 of Cups. So something from the past coming back here. Is it the same situation that required all of your strength that's returned? But in this 6 of Cups, we're almost looking at a time before something. Oh. Right, I'm seeing such a generational situation here. I see like this generational strength, this echoes into the past of someone who had to be incredibly strong. And maybe you're looking forward to that in the future about looking back on this time. There's some sort of, I was getting this with the illusion, there's some sort of generations behind and generations ahead kind of echoing here, right? And I don't know if this will make sense to you, but I'm seeing this strength card, and then in this one we have this person who had so much strength, and even as a child they had to have a huge amount of strength, and here they are as an older lady passing down the wisdom, right? They dealt with this lion, they dealt with this, they had the strength and power to do this. And now, so maybe you're looking at future you here. These could all be, let's say this is a dream, and these are all representations of you. And something from your past, you're like remembering yourself as a child. We have the maiden mother crone idea here that, ancient female rites of passage. And we have this elderly woman here who went through this time, this thing that required all of her strength, but she went through it as like a blessing to the younger grandchild. Like, she understood. There's just so much multi-generational something here that's really interesting. And you're thinking about happier times, and I think you're thinking about happier times in the future and happier times in the past. And it just seems like there's a contemplative mode, but it has to do with happiness, and it has to do with the levity, and it has to do with lightening the load, I think, for future generations. And I think wanting to look back and feel proud of what you did, and how you handle the situation. That's a little bit of an unusual reading for the Six of Cups, but there we have it. And then we have, in your hopes, your fears, your inner landscape, we have Six of Pentacles. So this is hoping, I think, that things will be fair, that things will even out, that some sort of cosmic blessings will come around, will... So what I'm seeing here is that you know, there's flow here. We can either do bean counting or we can do flow. We can either say, you get something, you get something, you get something, you get one drop, you get one drop, you get one drop, you get one drop. Or we can go, you flow, then you flow, then you flow, then you flow. And in the act of pouring out blessings, it can sometimes seem like something's unfair in that moment, right? And so this one's still waiting, and this one's in receiving, and this one's waiting. It's not that this one's never going to receive, it's that it's this one's turn. So there's something about that on your mind, like the turn, taking turns, and generosity, and receiving, and gifts, and balance. I think this is the faith that things get balanced out. That even though things can seem imbalanced at times, you may be hopeful that things will get balanced out. She isn't going to wait forever, right? That's not the card. The card in the reverse could be that, but we have it in the upright. But you're thinking about this. This is on your mind. Like, how do things get balanced out? Resource distribution. What's fair? What's not fair? Can we have moments of giving to one person and then moments of another? Like, and there's a sense here too of calculating need and pouring the resources where it's needed. Like, how do we know she didn't already get her cup filled, right? And she's already guzzled it down, and then it's this one's turn now. But she already had hers. She maybe went first here. So there's a sense, something on your mind about fair and resource distribution. Maybe you're dealing with inheritance distribution. Things may look unfair in the moment, but it's all in an overall universal balance is the hope, right? But we do have Six of Cups, and we do have Six of Pentacles. So, and then we have King of Cups here in the reverse. So this is a lot of emotional immaturity. Somebody here is not being very emotionally mature. There is, you know, as time goes on, many of us engage in a path of emotional maturity and growth. Other people do not. Sometimes they turn to substances and other things in this, rather than in dealing with the difficult emotional growth. They take shortcuts that feel good in the moment, but actually can set them back, and can be very difficult to come back from. But they do. You do. But with this King of Cups in the reverse is very emotionally unstable, not able to deal with the ups and downs in life. They have a lot of very deep wounds and that have been unaddressed. This is not for other people to address. This is not something for other people to take on. We all have our deep wounds. We all have our ancestral issues, our family issues. We have this all going on inside, right? And then there's just these choice points where some people choose to use that as a vehicle for gaining wisdom and health, and other people use it as, I don't know, an excuse to cop out and quit. You didn't quit, but somebody here just, it's almost like you would think they'd be smarter than this. You'd think like the in metaphor at the beginning, the adult and the child. You'd think the adult would be the adult, but the adult's not being the adult here. The adult's being the child and forcing the child to be the adult, because the adult isn't adulting. So there's some sort of adult here with just emotional immaturity. They haven't grown, they haven't developed. They're supposed to be in charge of things. They're supposed to be the adult in the room and the leader in the room, and they're just not. They're not able to, they don't have that emotional energy. They're not emotionally there. Maybe legally they're an adult, technically they're an adult, but emotionally and psychologically they are not an adult. They're still we can have compassion, but also like, you got to deal with your stuff here, sir. And then in your environment, we have the Hierophant. We have some sort of institution. So this could be some institution. I mean, this could be an institution of marriage. This could be a mental health facility. This could be any kind of an organization. Usually, often it's religion. It's ancient wisdom that's passed down, and so it loses something in the process. It might seem a little old and dead, but there might be something in there that someone's gaining some value from. Someone has some value. It has some value. It has a spark still in it. This one depicts the trees still here. The moon is here, talking about some kind of intuition. But in your environment, there's some kind of institution. You may be having to deal with some sort of institutional issues, rules and regulations, and all that kind of stuff. It may be having quite a bit of control over your life, these institutions. But there is wisdom to be gained from this institution. It's not necessarily the end all be all. I mean, and don't let it cloud your own intuition. But it has something in this depiction. It has something to shine, something to say, something to give you, and you might be kind of stuck there, having to deal with this institution, having to deal with the rules and regulations, having to listen to this thing that doesn't seem very fun or interesting or likely. But there might be something there that you need to know or need to deal with. And then your to-do list, Ace of Cups. Start a new emotional process, beginning, relationship, starting something new. Look at all these butterflies being released. It's like bringing a full cup of joy. Are you choosing joy? Are you choosing happiness in this situation? This is like, to me, these butterflies are like the freedom that I'm feeling from these guys, this thing. It's like, do something new, change something, bring happiness into the situation, express your happiness, express your joy, express gratitude, be cognizant of what you're bringing into the world, and your attitude and your vibe that you're bringing into the world here. I mean, it comes under Six of Cups, and Six of Cups is usually like a happiness, reconnecting with a past happiness, and this is you releasing that happiness, bringing your happiness into the world, starting something new. And then your outcome here, Eight of Cups. Again, I'm seeing the moon here. It's like you learn something from this institution. This institution does have something to bring you. You bring the emotion though. And then here we have this call forward, right? Other people are happy here, all these happy couples, other people are doing great, but your intuition is telling you that this particular spot, whether it's, coupled or single, or this job or that job, whatever, other people are happy here, other people have met their match here, but this is not the place where you're going to stay. So you can see something, you can see an opportunity, and it calls to you. So this Ace of Cups, I feel like this is a choice to bring gratitude, bring happiness, bring joy, pay attention to your feelings, and being very aware and intentional about what you bring to the situation. And it's maybe even starting a new situation, starting a new relationship, starting a new path. An open-hearted path, and then that path keeps going though, and it leads you out of your path of happiness. It leads you forward. We have a lot of cups here, so there's a lot of emotional stuff going on. So, all right, well, I hope that was helpful, Sagittarius, and I'll see you guys in a bit.